And it looks like we are live.
Hello,
Sure? Everyone.
It doesn't say I'm live on here. It says I'm waiting for Living on a Dime.
See, she's a rebel. She doesn't like to.
It says it right here. Oh, there I am.
What?
Hello.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Right. So we made it. Barely. Did we survive?
Yep. We did. It was pretty rough, but it's been great the last few days, hasn't it? Well, at least good.
So our sun shield is blowing in the wind. Almost whacked Mike in the head there.
So you could bring the lawnmower over and clamp it to the lawnmower.
So
hello, everyone.
You should see our get up here. So we have a big sheet hanging from our deck that Dave clipped to the tree that we have weighted with another clip. And we can't get it to stop blowing because you guys know this is Wyoming. So the wind never stops blowing here. It's always an adventure.
All right.
Always an adventure. All right. So we made it to Wyoming.
Ooh, Sound the Bells is paying attention. They're not in Cheyenne. They said they took the trucks to Casper. That's funny.
Well, actually, the way moving trucks are going, we could be in Cheyenne and just have to take them to Casper because
it was hard to get one.
Yeah. So when we dumped U-Haul 10 days before we were supposed to move, we dumped U-Haul because they called us and said, you may or may not have a truck.
We'll let you know 24 hours ahead?
48 hours.
48 hours.
We'll let you know 48 hours ahead of time if you're going to get a truck. And we're like, what do you mean if we're going to get a truck? We had a reservation put in 6 weeks ago. He said, well, you'll be at the top of the list. And
but we can't guarantee there'll be a truck.
We can't guarantee there'll be a truck. So
we called Penske and they said, we'll guarantee that you'll have a truck. So we said, okay.
So I was like, okay, if Penske can guarantee it, then we are going to go with Penske. And it actually worked pretty well. The Penske truck did not break down.
Even though it was leaning, it was actually funny because for those of you who know Wyoming, we were heading north and we were at Chugwater.
Okay, so just a second. This is a big concern for Wyoming, just so people understand. This is like a major problem when you're driving through Wyoming with a semi or an RV or a moving truck, okay?
So I mentioned, our moving truck is leaning slightly towards the driver's side, and I was a little concerned about the wind, and she said, oh, did you say it's leaning to the left? And I said, yeah. She said, oh, it'll be no problem because the wind comes from the other direction and it'll straighten you out.
Yeah. But guys, the wind here is nothing to joke about. If you have an RV and you come on a windy day, you are literally risking your life, really.
Yeah, there's a couple spots on the road where there are all these flags and stuff about the wind, and it says, and they have warnings saying trucks can't come through at this time and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So a lot of people saying, so glad you're back, love your channel. They love the house. Hello, beautiful people. Thank you, Tammy. I grew up in Gillette, LR says. Missed you guys. Aw, thanks, everybody. Beautiful new home. The yard looks lovely. Yeah, we had a hard time trying to get the light so that we could be here and you could still see the yard. Although as the sun goes down, it'll probably get easier to see. Nice. So.
Yeah, all right. So what do we think about our new town? Well, we're going to announce it here in just a minute as soon as we get a few more people on because we're just going to get view time.
Yeah, actually, Val says when y'all said you saw folks flipped over, I was like, what? Yeah, one day we drove up here and it was just before the winter. And
it was October, yeah.
It was, there were semis and RVs, like lots of them on just the trip we took isn't that long.
Yeah.
But there were many, many of them laying on their sides and stuff. And I was really surprised. Where's Jill?
So, okay, we'll get to Mom in just a minute, but what are you thinking of our new town?
Oh, wait, are you asking me?
Yeah.
Don't say what it is yet, Mom. I'll surprise everybody in a few minutes when everyone else is on.
Well, London is a very nice town.
London is a very nice town, huh?
I'm liking it so far.
So Dave and Jack are absolutely loving it. They've been walking all over the place, exploring everything. Mike and I are loving it. We actually, I honestly wish we would have found this town 6 moves ago.
We really like
I
it.
think we would have really, really liked it. Pat wants to know, is there pizza delivery? Yes, we have pizza delivery. We have all the main stuff. So we have Walmart, and we have a couple of grocery stores, and we have Home Depot and Ace and True Value, and and
I'm laughing at a comment I can't yet address.
we have the main things. Now we don't have things like Hobby Lobby. We don't have things like Kohl's, anything
Kohl's?
like that.
No.
We don't have any of those kinds of things. So we'll either have to go to Billings or Casper for those types of things. But I don't really go shopping to those places that often anyway. So it doesn't really bother me. Carmen wants to know, is this going to be our last move?
We hope so. I don't
hope
really
so,
ever wanna
but I
move
doubt
again.
it. I mean, I'm not going to say that we're going to be here forever because, well, I mean, if Jesus doesn't come back in probably 15 years, this is going to be too much for us to take care of. So I can't see us dying here. Okay, well, I'll die here and then you can stay. But
I don't know about Tara. I would like to think that I hope that we would never move again. And it would certainly be my intention that we never move again.
Yeah.
If we did have to move again for some reason, like we couldn't take care of the place anymore, or we had to go somewhere because of some family emergency situation, something like that, we'd have to hire somebody to move us.
Yeah, we'd have to hire somebody next time. Yeah, it was brutal. It was brutal.
In the past, when we've moved, it was difficult, but I'm realizing being older and at the moment not in the best of shape made a huge difference. And last time we moved, we eliminated everything except one truck worth of things. And of course, there was a 25% of a truck was Jill's, but basically we moved to 1 3/4 trucks.
25% of a truck was Mom, and the other probably a third of a truck was business stuff too.
Well, I was going to say almost a whole truck. Well, hers plus the rest, almost the rest of that truck was business.
Yeah, I would say almost 3. Yeah, you're right.
And when we moved to Colorado, our business was all paper. It was all on paper, and then we didn't bring any books with us or anything. Yeah. And it ended up being a pretty.
We didn't have shelving. It was
hard, but hard in a normal hard way.
Didn't have any of the soap stuff.
This was tough because it was probably between about 98 and 104 degrees every day that we moved.
It was awful.
And so
even in Colorado.
Yeah. So Denise wants to know if your mom sold her house.
Well, okay, we'll talk about Mom in just a minute. Somebody said, have we seen deer? So we have deer that come through our yard every single day. They come and actually sleep in our front yard. And like yesterday, we had 2 bucks just laying under our trees in the front yard. As a matter of fact, I thought about doing a live stream of streaming them because it's pretty cool. And we have a mom and 2 babies that keep visiting, and then the 2 bucks. So we did all that. We have all that. Now, several people have said, are the deer real in the videos? Yes, the deer are real. And everybody said, oh, well, you're going to hate them after a while. I have lived with deer before. So I lived with deer in Allens Park. I lived with deer in Estes Park. I lived with deer in Andover. And now here. And honestly, deer don't bother me with gardening. I put all my valuable plants on my deck or porch when I deal with deer. This deck, I could put our entire vegetable garden on this deck. I mean, this deck has got to be 1,000 square feet? It's
big.
huge.
It's really big.
It is a huge deck, and only part of it is covered. And it has drip irrigation going up to the deck.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
ran drip lines to the deck to water all the plants
Yeah.
in the containers that hang on the side of the deck.
Can you talk about perfect for me?
Wow.
So I'm not worried about the deer with my garden at all. Then the plants that I have down below, the valuable ones, I'll just spray with deer repellent. And then the other ones, I just plant plants that the deer won't eat, that they don't like, or I'll just plant double or triple, and then what they give some to the deer and some to me, and do it that way. So deer don't really bother me.
So Dusty's asking, did people feed them there before you moved there? We don't think so.
I don't think so.
There are tons and tons of deer and antelope and all sorts of other things in this entire area. And a lot of times when we're heading slightly out of town or even in town, they'll be kind of just walking right across the street or eating right next to the street. And I do think, even though people didn't feed them intentionally, they do love to come in and help themselves to the garden, which we knew would be an issue. And we had that experience with deer, but we still we still think they're cool. And what we decided is, because it's clear that there are a couple of spots in the yard where they definitely like to go,
just leave it.
We will absolutely not plant a garden there and leave that as their space that they've been using anyway.
Yeah.
So at least we will hopefully not have to fight them as much if we leave them in their nice area and we try to put a garden that's sort of protected from them somewhere else.
So here's what I think we should do. We have 900 people watching on YouTube. When we get to 1,000, we'll announce where we are.
Oh, you are cruel, woman.
I think we should do that.
Julia says, I think the former owner was your gardening soul sister. She was so nice.
Yeah, she planted my zinnias and cosmos for me so I would have something blooming. It was so nice. They were really, really nice people, and they really answered a lot of questions and helped us out. And we were really thankful that we were able to buy from such nice people, because it's really helpful if you can move into a house and do that. So yes, deer steak is delicious. Let me tell you, if the zombie apocalypse happens, I have no problem helping myself to bambo in the front yard. We could even hang them from the deck to dress it.
But for now,
anyway, we don't normally hunt, but I'm not against hunting by any stretch of the. See, now we're up to 944. So if we get up to 1,000 people, that's when we should announce. All right, guys.
People that are watching,
so share
can't help it.
I know, but if they share it, so if you guys share it, now we're up to 960.
So Bandana Grandma asked, what kind of predators are in the area? Predators against deer.
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, there was actually a big bear that kept wandering around this area recently.
Just 3 weeks ago.
But they've had a lot of bears in the area recently. And then I'm trying to think. The one thing that really alarmed the deer and they ran away and didn't come back for a couple of days was 2 dogs ran into our property from off the street. And they were, the dogs are with their tongues all hanging out, running around like, oh, wait, I'm lost. Oh no, where am I? And I was out there with Jack trying to scoot them out of the property. But as far as the people asking about barking dogs, for the most part, no. And we'll occasionally hear one way off in the distance, or 5 or 6 houses down, somebody has one that you never hear unless something is going on right there.
Yeah.
So that's been
actually our big problem is in the morning and the evening is the monster trucks and the motorcycles from guys going to work. And so it's okay. This is not my dream house by any stretch of the imagination. Okay. But it is a really nice house, and it has a lot of the qualifications that we were looking for. And so some things like putting up with the noise from the monster trucks and stuff like that, I'm okay with. So, it was kind of a give and take type thing. And so we gave up some things so that we could be in town to have the internet and that kind of thing. So, Julie, there is no Aldi's. There's no Aldi's west of Kansas. I mean, somebody said there might be some in California or something. I don't know. But the majority of the West does not have Aldi's. So.
Sound the bells. Unlike Colorado, you don't get to meet the owner when you sign papers in Wyoming. Actually, Colorado, we really didn't either.
No. And it's a good thing because it would not have been a pleasant signing because I would have been staring them down after the whole curtain debacle.
Oh,
I would have been so ticked.
Oh, I didn't think they meant. I thought that she meant other. Sorry,
Yeah.
I misunderstood. I thought she meant neighbors.
Yeah.
Make sure you have all your vital paperwork when you get your driver's license. We already
have our driver's license. Yes, and our tag. Okay, guys, we have 8 people, and we will announce where we at. Get us 8 more people on YouTube, and we will be there. No, that's the whole thing. 1,004 people on YouTube.
Welcome, everybody. We're really blessed to have you here.
Okay, are you guys ready? Are you dying to know where we moved? Does anybody want to know? Let us know if you want to know. Come on, give me a thumbs up if you want to know, or a little heart, or whatever you want to do. Let's see. I guess they don't want to know. They really don't.
Oh, come on. You promised. You told them. See what I have to deal with. I have to deal with this too.
All right, guys. We moved to Sheridan, Wyoming. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun. But for those of you who guessed Buffalo,
you're really close.
You get half credit.
Yeah.
Because Buffalo is pretty close. And Buffalo has a lot of similar characteristics.
Yeah.
So we're in Sheridan.
We moved to Sheridan, and we really
love it here.
Yeah.
But and Wyoming doesn't exist.
I was going to say, if you're thinking about moving here, Wyoming does not exist. So just don't even think about it.
Actually, we love you guys. So that's fine. But mainly, we've had a lot of people saying, now, we're really glad that you came, but just remember, if you came from a place and you didn't like what was going on there, don't bring that stuff with you when you come here.
Although it's interesting, it's the Christians from church that have been saying that to us. Everybody else that we've been talking to, they've been like, oh yeah, I'm from Colorado or I'm from California and I just love it here. It's just so nice to have some place that's sane again.
So yeah, there were quite a few people that guessed correctly in the comments. Congratulations.
Yeah. I was surprised yesterday how many people guessed right. Although, I mean, you guys would probably know. I mean, for those of you who know the area.
I had to laugh at Val's comment about is that the trickle of Goose Creek I hear? Because the funny thing is Goose Creek is this creek that's in the area, and Sheridan is a big valley. And Goose Creek just winds back and forth across the entire valley. So we can drive somewhere and drive across. If we drive in a straight line, we can go across the creek 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Okay. So for some people were asking, why did we move here? So when we were in Colorado, we had been looking for 4 years for a house. 5 years. It'll be 5 years this next month. And since we started looking for a house, since our neighbors threatened to kill us and burn down our house, that's when I started looking for houses 5 years ago. And so we started looking in Colorado and couldn't find anything. Then our business outgrew our garage. And so we're self-published cookbook authors. By the way, guys, if you're wanting volume 1 and volume 2, for Dining on a Dime, we have a pre-order sale, 35% off right now. For those of you who missed out on our other sale, just so you know. And so we're going to have around 20 pallets of books, I think, coming. I don't know, 15 to 20 pallets of books coming mid-September, the middle of September. And so we just frankly ran out of space in our garage to put all of our inventory. And so we had to be finding some place that had more land where we could build a shop, warehouse type thing, or where it already had one. And if you saw yesterday's video, the one we have is almost 2,000 square feet. And at the moment, we're planning on putting our inventory on one half and then make the studio into the other half. That's the plans at the moment. Now, of course, that could change anytime now. But we moved because our neighbors were threatening to kill us and burn down our house. And because we ran out of room in our garage. And third, we were sick of Colorado. I got a lot more sick of it way sooner than the rest of the family did. But now the rest of the family is like, oh man, I wish we got here sooner. The boys are just loving it. We just love it. And so I think it's going to be great. I think we're going to really like it here. We really like that it's a city. Sheridan's a city, but it's not huge. And it's actually, we were like, oh, this is so great. We're close to Walmart and grocery store and all that. It's actually been a bad thing for us because now we've been making like 3 trips into town every day. Or, well, I mean, into the store every day. We live in town, but like 3 trips to the store every day. Now, part of that's just from moving.
Uh-oh.
What?
So a few people's internet was not working when we said where. So we're in Sheridan, Wyoming.
Oh, yes.
Yes, Sheridan.
Yeah.
Our internet's pretty fast here, and it looks like everything's going smoothly. So it's probably just a few people. But just in case you missed it, it was Sheridan, Wyoming.
Yeah. And so we now are living in the big city. The town we moved from had about 4,000 people with no grocery store, no gas station, literally nothing in our town but houses and schools, a chiropractor, a dentist, and that was it. So, yeah, we're really in the big city now.
So Marilyn asked about the population. According to the internet, it's 17,000, but I think it's a little bit more than that now. And I think there's about 35 or so in the county.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And actually, it's kind of cool. We'll have to show you sometime, but right now we can't see it from where we are. But it's kind of cool that we can look out and see like the complete edge of civilization.
Yeah, it's funny because when you look on our deck, you can see the prairie, the Wyoming prairie, just out. Let's see. Somebody said, are the housing prices reasonable here? No. They are just as bad as Colorado. And yeah, I mean, it's just as bad as Colorado. But, you know, and I mean, we paid a ridiculous amount for this house. I honestly, if you would have told me 3 years ago that I would pay the amount that we did for this house, I would have laughed in your face and said, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But our business started doing better. We made a $300,000 profit on our house in Colorado, almost $300,000. I guess after you take out the realtor fees, not quite $300,000.
Yeah, basically we bought it and then it just went up and we sold it for more.
Yeah.
So we didn't have to pay that separately. It was just because we happened to be in the right house.
And now we did have to take out a mortgage on this house, but it's a small mortgage. And it would have cost us the same to rent a warehouse for the books as get a mortgage. And so we were kind of like, oh, what do we do? So that was kind of one of those things where we really wanted to stay debt free, but we went ahead and took the chance and got a mortgage and did that. So yeah, Linda says, Amir has breaking news, and Israeli Air Force is striking southern Lebanon. Will you mind if you will be leaving your mansion above to your mansion above? Well, no. I might be a little ticked on the way up thinking we just did all this moving. But if Jesus is going to come back and take us soon, then that's fine with me. So how is BJ? I don't know. Did he say if he's feeling better yet?
Well, pretty much we can ask him at any point and he says, I'm good. He said, I'm doing well the other day. So we're planning to go make trips down there more often than we have so far, because we're kind of at a point of we tried to put everything we could in the house so we wouldn't have very much of a mortgage on it. and we're waiting for the books to come back, and we're saving up a lot of money for that. And so we'll probably still go down there shortly before this happens, but we're waiting to do a lot of things till the books come in and we pay for them,
Yeah.
so that we've got that kind of in place.
Yeah.
So,
Cindy, we do
but
have more
he's-
cookbooks on the way.
But he says he's doing pretty well, and I think he seems to be pretty happy with what he's doing. So the thing is, he's not super chatty, so we have to hit him at just the right moment.
Yeah. We have about 1.5 acres. And so we have a good little spread here. Honestly, it looks like it's bigger than 1.5 acres. Are we sure we only have 1.5 acres?
It's 1.4.
That's it?
Yeah, but the thing is that
Because if you would
There's a
lay
lot of-
Grandma's lot on here,
there's a
well,
whole lot of open
maybe.
space around us, and that was only half an acre, wasn't it? No, it was an acre.
It was an
There's
acre.
a whole lot of open space around here, and so it feels like 10 acres or more.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that we thought when we kept looking in Colorado. Every now and then we'd find one and it said backs up to open space, and we thought, because they would designate things to open space where it's never going to be developed for any other purpose. And I remember thinking, wow, that would be kind of cool. But the ones in Colorado, they would be a lot more expensive because of the open space.
Yeah.
And this particular one, for whatever reason, was not.
Well, and even this house in town, even here in Sheridan, if we would have been out of town, would have been $1.5 million house. And we just did not want to pay $1.5 million for a house. So anyway, we are in town, Willow, so it's not anything.
So,
I was just gonna say, somebody asked if we have riding lawnmower. Nope. We're
Well,
gonna get one next year, but the
That's-
boys can mow right now.
the riding mower and some other things are some of the things that we're going to wait until pretty much anytime we move into a house, it's kind of like, when you have a baby or something, that financially we try to put everything we can at the house so we're not having a lot of debt. And because of that, we tend to, the first couple months, go really, really easy on spending any money on anything, just to make sure that we get things in order. But right now we're waiting for books because we just sold all those books out, and that's supposed to happen in the middle of September. So
Yeah.
Genevieve, why did you use a realtor and not sell the house yourself? In our experience, we have tried that before, but in our experience, it doesn't generally work out well to try to sell it ourselves. We've done it a few times, and we marketed it like crazy, and it seemed really, positive, but we just weren't getting traction on them. And in Colorado, we probably would have been a lot easier to do that. But the thing is, the agents they'll bring people to your house if you're willing to pay an agent.
Well, and
most people have an agent.
Even paying the agent, I would say we probably made $75,000 more than if we wouldn't have hired an agent, because here's the thing. People say, oh, sell it yourself and you take the realtor fees. But when you sell your house yourself, people expect you to lower the price 6% to cover the realtor fees. So like if I was going to go buy a for sale by owner, I would say, I got news for you. You're coming down 6% if I'm not paying a realtor and we're doing all the paperwork ourselves. And so people expect you to come down for that. So,
well, the other thing we found out is that, and I used to be a real estate appraiser. So there's kind of this thing in the real estate business where real estate agents and appraisers and stuff tend to believe that if people sell their own house, they probably want more for it than it's worth. And in our case, there have been some times where we put it on the market and we thought, man, we'd really like to get this out of it. And we weren't really sure how much it was worth. And the way, you could think it's worth a certain amount, but what it's worth is what somebody in the market will pay for it. And so kind of what we've done, like with our last house, we just kept track of sort of how much other houses in the area were selling for. So we had sort of an idea in mind. But the thing is that I found that with agents, it's really good to ask, if you get a good agent, what do you think it's worth? What do you think it'll sell for? What kind of strategy do you think we could use to get the most money for selling it? And on the buying end, it's the same way. Like, wow, like this particular house looked like a lot of people were going to bid on it. And we were trying to think, what's the best strategy to use to get it without going crazy and spending a lot more money than we should.
Mhm. Yeah.
And so we've, in our personal experience, the agent cost seems to be worth it, even though it is a large cost. In the past, we've had 1 or 2 houses linger for years,
Yeah.
trying to sell them ourselves.
Yeah, we had one house on the market for 3 years. Our Idaho house was on the market for 3 years, and we ended up having to write a check for $8,000 for somebody to buy our house. And so we have been through it all with selling houses. So,
and Kaloni, yes, we did put it down. We paid the majority of the cost of the house, and then we got a loan for a small amount.
Yeah.
That we'll be able to pay off.
Yeah.
Hopefully, pretty quickly. So.
Okay.
Although at the moment we're not. So a lot of people, or you're not talking about your mom yet, or are you?
Go ahead.
A lot of people are asking about how soon is your mom coming, and is she living here forever, or what's happening with that?
Okay, so here's what happened with Mom. So we moved in 3 weeks ago. We moved in 3 weeks ago tomorrow. And Mom put her house on the market 2 weeks ago. And so we were all excited and good. And we're like, okay, good. We probably have 3 or 4 months before she sells her house. We can get settled in, and then she's going to be coming. And the next day, she got a cash offer for $5,000 over her asking price if she would leave within 2 weeks.
But thankfully, she had anticipated that, and we already had moved most of her stuff. Although, don't tell her that today.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, Mom is closing on her house tomorrow. She is packing up the last of her stuff today. She's having a coronary because she had too much stuff to fit in her car and couldn't get it all in her car. Just for the record, Dave and I offered to go back there for the last 10 days. We've been offering to go back and help her move and bring stuff back, and she kept saying no. So just so you know, I did offer. But so she is closing on her house tomorrow, and then she is going to be here on Saturday, and she is going to be staying in the basement for the moment. But we are looking to buy her house. She doesn't really like our basement. Well, she doesn't like it at all. And which is fine. I mean, I totally understand why she doesn't like it. And so she is looking for a house, but because housing prices are so crazy here, we're having the same problem we did with her that we did finding a house, if not more so, because the house that the price range she is looking for is for the starter homes, and which is ridiculous. I never thought I'd see the day a $300,000 house would be a starter home. But she there's just nothing available. So there's nothing available. And then when there is something available, there's 20 people that make offers on it. And the housing here is just absolutely nuts. So she'll probably have to be here for a little while. But maybe not too long. Hopefully we can get her something not too long. And honestly, the sale of her house was absolutely miraculous. I'll be honest. Wichita's market stinks. Nobody moves to Wichita unless it's for their jobs or family. And so it's not a hot real estate market by any stretch of the imagination. And we thought it would take her, a month or two to sell her house.
It would take 3 to 6 months.
She sold it within, I think it was 12 hours. She had the offer in 12 hours after listing it. And she had 15 showings the first day that it was on the market. And she got a cash offer. They didn't want any inspections, which is what she was wanting, because she didn't want to have to deal with inspections and appraisals and all that. it was cash, and it was over her asking price. And so all of that just really fell into place. So now we just need God to work another miracle and get her a house that is something that she will really like. So anyway, yeah. Yes, we do have air conditioning. So, and I'm very thankful. It was 106 the week we moved in. It went up to 106. I don't know. I think maybe that was a record for Wyoming. Wyoming never gets up above 100 that often.
I'd say
It does sometimes, but I mean, it's not like Kansas or Mississippi or something where, you can have a whole month over 100.
I can't say that we're the experts, but I would say in the past, when I've been in Wyoming, it seems like mid 90s is not unusual in the hottest part of the summer.
Yeah.
Over 100, everybody was saying, "Oh, it's never like you brought it with you."
Mm-hmm.
So apparently, over 100 is not very common, at least in this area.
Yeah.
Somebody asked earlier about snow. There is more snow than Colorado. We're not quite sure how much more.
But we're not worried about it. We lived in Idaho, and we were further north, probably, 500 more miles further north.
We got a lot of snow when we were in Idaho, so we're not unprepared for that. As a couple other people had noted, we probably will need to get some better equipment for handling snow because the shovel just isn't going to cut it. If you saw the video with the driveway.
Yeah.
So some people were talking about that we might need to get a little four-wheeler with the blade, but we're holding off on that for now.
Yeah, we probably will.
We probably will need to do that.
We're waiting just because we put every single penny we could for a down payment on this so that we just could get as much down on our house.
So
yeah.
One thing also, I don't know if Tara mentioned, but the space we have for Jill it's a nice space, but it's also it's got doors on all the entrances to the rest of the house that it can be easily separated from the rest of the house. So the nice thing is, during whatever time she's here, it'll be easier for everybody to kind of have their own space, and that's really nice. And Linda asked about no senior mobile home parks nearby. Well,
she doesn't want a mobile home.
So Jill's lived in a lot of places over the years. Like, well, you guys have, if you've been around a while, you've heard the stories. She's lived in a lot of places where she didn't have heat in a lot of the house or water or whatever, and there were leaking things and things were kind of run down. And the house that she's moving from now has some of that. And she just has always wanted something kind of really nice and comfortable. And I think she just doesn't think it would be. They're very nice here. There are some different kinds of senior places. Some of them are mobile parks that look pretty nice, but I think that she just, after all these years, I think she just would like something that's...
Well, she wants something that's brand new. She wants something that's not a mobile home, not a tiny house. She wants more space than a tiny house because she likes doing her sewing. It needs to be a ranch because she's got really bad neuropathy, and she could easily end up in a wheelchair not too far in the distant future. And so she needs something that is that will be easy for her to take care of. But are we being invaded?
It's just a helicopter.
It's a military helicopter. It's not just a helicopter.
All right. Going from Billings to Cheyenne.
And so she wants something that's really nice and new. So maybe that's kind of freaky. So we're hoping she can maybe find like a flip that somebody's done up really nice and brand new.
That's a big helicopter. We don't have very much air traffic around here, so when we hear it, it's a lot different. One thing, while Tara is looking, and I'm looking too, what kind of helicopter is it? Oh, it's a fire.
Oh, it's a
firefighting helicopter. So there are some forest fires that aren't too far from here. Because Sheridan is like 20 miles from Montana, And there's one forest fire in the mountains in Montana that I think just crossed the border into Wyoming. It's still a long way from us, but it's been really smoky here the whole time we've been here. And that helicopter that just went by has a giant bucket on the bottom. So usually they fly over to, in Colorado
here
anyway.
comes another one.
In Colorado, when they were doing it, they would fly over to a big lake, go down and pick up a bunch of water in the bucket, and then fly back and dump it on the fire. And I guess that must be what they're doing here.
Yeah.
That's the Black Hawk right there.
So another fire must have broken out not too far from here. We don't watch the news, so we need to go look, but it has been really smoky from all the fires and everything.
Yeah.
And so that's been really awful still again this year. We were kind of hoping, but yeah.
Some things with Jill, we can't necessarily speak for her, but some things like the basement. Yeah, the basement is really nice. And it's walkout and everything, but she says it bothers her.
She doesn't like the
if
low
she can
ceilings.
Hear sounds of people. Yeah. Well, and this one doesn't really have low ceilings.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, they're low ceilings. I mean, she doesn't like the low ceilings. She doesn't like hearing everybody walking around upstairs.
And there are different things that bother her that sometimes we don't understand because she's her and we're us. Is that a good way to say it?
Okay.
but yeah, we're seeing how it goes. So.
Somebody wants to know, is there any bugs here?
As I'm doing this.
So there's the normal flies and mosquitoes and ticks and that kind of thing. But so far, the bugs haven't been really bad. Mm-hmm. And I will say, everybody's like, oh, because we have the deer, you need to spray for ticks and all that. Yes, I spray. I believe chemicals are our friends. And so I properly use chemicals, and I do not put up with ticks and fleas and stuff. Well, fleas probably wouldn't live here, but ticks and that kind of thing in our yard. So,
and it's funny though. I don't know if Tar mentioned it, but when we first moved here, we'd walk in the door, and there were always a bunch of wasps flying around the front door. And I used to have a big thing about wasps and bees, and I'm fine with bees, and I don't care about wasps, but if they're dive bombing you when you walk in your door, then they have to die. Mm-hmm. And so I noticed that they were all flying into a light fixture up above the door. And so we ended up, one day I kind of sprayed between the light bulb and the fixture, and some of them, it kind of reduced the number that were coming out. But one night, Tara got up there and took the light bulb out, and there were like seven wasp nests like this big each, all crammed into this little light.
I don't even know how they were all in there. I mean, it was crazy.
We've kind of gone on a bug hunt with wasps, and because there were a bunch of them that were on or around the house, kind of close to the front door or right around the sides. And we got rid of a bunch of those nests, and now it's a lot more mellow as far as the wasp thing goes. Yeah. And the ticks, certain times of the year, it'll be worse than others. And of course, with the deer, we respect that they're wild, and we don't get, they're close to us, but we don't try to, approach them or touch them or whatever. And they do come around, and they're pretty mellow. But if we come out real quick out the door, or if the other day, she went into the big garage and was refinishing furniture for a video. And when we started opening the door, and that, even though it was around the corner from where they were, these two bucks that were there, and they both kind of got a little uneasy about it and left. But we do respect that. But as far as the ticks and stuff, I'm sure certain times of the year there'll probably be some, but I don't think it's going to be outrageous in this spot.
Any good thrift shops here? So I have been to about half of the thrift shops before when we were looking, and then since I've been here. And so the thrift shops are hit or miss. So I'm noticing, like, the Habitat for Humanity here, their prices are ridiculously expensive on like furniture. I mean, some of the stuff you can get at Walmart new for the same price, but things like they have used paint, that's fairly cheap. But then there's another like Catholic Charities type thrift store. Oh, sorry guys. it's got a lot of good clothes and like knickknacks and bedding and stuff like that. So it doesn't have any furniture, but it has that kind of stuff. And then another place has really good clothes. And then I think I've only hit 3. Oh, and then another place is just kind of like a junk shop, and they just have stuff everywhere. But I don't know if this is just the day I went in or what. They were like, take what you want, pay what you want. Like, okay. But it looked like my grandpa's, I come from a hoarding family, and it looked like my grandpa's hoarding. But, you could maybe find some good deals in there if you were willing to dig through and look for some stuff. So the thrift stores are kind of hit or miss. The big place that I have found really good deals so far is the Facebook pages. I joined all the Facebook pages, and I have been going to garage sales and furniture shopping. The garage sales are really good here. They do have really good garage sales. In Colorado, we did not have good garage sales at all, but we had good thrift stores. So I have noticed that in my moving across the country, places that have really good garage sales usually don't have really good thrift stores. And places that have really good thrift stores usually don't have really good garage sales. So it just kind of goes back and forth. Are we going to...
Oh,
go ahead.
People that says God always sends an angel. I'm sure God will be blessed with the house that's within her liking. Yeah,
actually, I think we'll find something.
Well, and it's funny because somebody else asked about that, and already I personally think it was kind of a God thing how her house thing came together.
Yeah.
Because
it was a miracle the way her house sold.
Jean said, did your mom go through a realtor? I missed what you said.
Mm-hmm.
She did go through a realtor, but we used to live in the Wichita area too, and it was difficult to sell a house quickly. We would tend to put a house on, and we'd have to do a showing here and a showing there for months before somebody would make an offer on it. And we thought it would be that way with her too, but she put one on and they got a ton of offers.
15 showings in the first 12 hours. 15 showings.
And that's just really kind of, unless Wichita has changed greatly since then, I think that's pretty unheard of.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, her realtor was totally flabbergasted. She got 4 offers, and she took the cash offer, of course. Somebody wants to know if we're going to be getting pets. No, we are done with pets. Mike and I are finished for the rest of our lives with pets. We love Buster, but although it's funny, today I had Jack sweeping the kitchen and dining room floor. And he said, Mom, I don't understand why our floor is so dirty here. I said, well, that's because Buster is not our vacuumer to help clean up anymore. And he's like, oh.
Yeah.
I have heard it's windy there. Been to Cheyenne and other parts, and there was always wind. How is it? So that's one reason why we picked Sheridan, because I have been to Cheyenne, and I have been to Laramie, and I have been to Lander, and I have been to Rock Springs. And the wind never stops blowing. But because of the way Sheridan is kind of in a valley, the wind isn't quite as bad as Cheyenne and Laramie as the rest of Wyoming. But yes, the wind does not ever stop blowing here. It just blows all the time. Yes.
Michelle, you paid $3 million for your house. Wow.
No, we didn't pay $3 million for it.
Oh, that's way beyond our means.
Major shopping not too far away. Billings 2 hours in one direction. Rapid City. Yeah, so it's only an hour and a half to Billings for us, so that's good. Would we ever Airbnb our house? Probably not. We could set up Airbnb if we wanted to, but we probably wouldn't, just because after we had looked at the lodge and we had looked at other places about doing those kinds of things, after we got to talking about it, we were like, being YouTubers, if people came to see us, they would expect us to entertain them all day long. If they paid as an Airbnb, they would expect us to be there on call, entertaining them all the time. And we just can't do that. So that's why after the lodge last fall and all that, we decided to not go ahead and get a property where we would have people on the property to help pay for it and that kind of thing, because we wouldn't be able to get anything else done for the business. So yeah, 2022 planners. So it looks like it's not going to happen. I put in a request 10 days ago for a price. They still haven't gotten back to me. The printer still hasn't gotten back to me. So I think it's probably going to be too late now. I don't think we'll be able to get the 2022 planners. I'm sorry. We tried, but we just couldn't do it. So
actually trying to move and get the other books together and try to find out about that one at the same time were hard, because we didn't actually, on the planners, we hired somebody to design them and stuff, and that's kind of the part where we're struggling with connecting with them on that, right?
what? No, we can.
I thought you didn't get an answer about the.
No, Fareed said that, or Goalie said that they would be able to design it. I can't hear from Korea to see if they would print it. I'm waiting.
You should have asked me. I would have let them know.
Well, I've told you like 4 times.
Well, you said that you were sending it to them.
I did.
Well,
I sent it to them.
So that's why
So they haven't gotten back to me. So I sent them all the info to get a quote, and they never got back to me. So, is there a Dollar Tree? Yes, we have a Dollar Tree in town, and it is super nice. It's not like the junk pile that we had in Colorado. Stephanie, we moved to Sheridan, Wyoming. So
Debbie asked what cities are near us. So if you mean bigger cities, the nearest ones are Casper, Wyoming, and Billings, Montana. And they're both probably about a little over 2 hours from here. And a lot of people will go there occasionally to do a big Costco run or something like that. To be honest, maybe it'll be different after we've been here longer, but we haven't felt the need to leave town at all for anything.
The only thing is, right now I have a major couch set a major couch set makeover, flip, whatever you want to call it, that I'm doing right now. And I was having a hard time finding the fabric. And so I almost had to make a run to Billings to go to Hobby Lobby to get the fabric, but I found it at Walmart here. I just was looking in the wrong place. I went again today and found the fabric. What zone are we in? I think we're in zone 4, Cindy. I think we're in zone 4. So what will you be doing for fun? I have no idea. So far,
there's so much to do here.
So far, the boys have just been exploring and exploring. They have really nice parks. The fairgrounds has something going on almost every weekend, it seems like. They have festivals and fairs going on. So I have no idea what we're going to be doing, but it sounds like they always have something going on here.
Yeah, I guess we shouldn't say too much since Wyoming doesn't exist. But
yeah.
But there are festivals and fairs. I assume these things are still going, but after COVID and all, but there's a bowling alley, there's a movie theater, there's an ice rink and a roller skating rink and a lot of stuff for the town. The size of the town it is, there's more than we would expect here. But one thing that we learned when we were living in Idaho is that in the more remote places, if you're the biggest city in the area, then a lot of people come to your city for supplies and things and restaurants, and that tends to make it have more of that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Have we found a church yet? We have tried one church twice, and it is a contender, but we are going to go try a couple of other churches. We're trying to decide which ones we want to try. But good grief, there's only 5 or 6 churches that are our denomination anyway. Well, not denomination, but that have the same beliefs that we do. There's only 5 or 6 anyway, so it's not like it's going to be a huge selection. So,
here's some great questions. But first of all, on the church thing, the funny thing is we've gone to the same one twice, and the people were pretty nice. The first time we had our classic church visiting problem is we went when the regular pastor wasn't preaching.
Every church we've ever tried the first time, it's not been the preacher.
Although the pastor that was preaching is one of the other pastors on staff there, and we liked his preaching, but we wanted to go back again to see what the pastor who usually preaches was like.
Yeah.
But I think we'll probably check out a few. It is a contender for sure, but we'll probably check out a few others just to know kind of what's out there.
Yeah.
Glenn, Sheridan also has a Holiday Station store. It's one of my coffee stops between Billings and Missouri. Okay, so Glenn, we really like that Holiday. It's like a big convenience store, gas station. But what is it? How does it go? Holiday, this I have against you. Just kidding. No, what we've noticed is
I have no idea.
that's like the messages to the 7 churches in Revelation.
Oh,
he tells them
okay.
all the great things, and then
Okay,
he says,
yes.
"But this I
Yes.
not that I'm not claiming to be Jesus or anything." But we really love that store, except we were looking for slushies for the boys because we said, all right, you can have a slushie for this. And we went there and all the slushie machines were broken. And then we went to another Holiday and they were all broken. So we went to a couple of other places that we thought would have them and they didn't have them at all. And so we found a truck stop that has a certain fruity flavors. And so I was just wondering, for anyone who is familiar with Sheridan, where is a good place for the kids to get slushies?
Well, we found it.
Well, but Dave doesn't like the flavors of that one.
Oh, he doesn't?
Because it's like birthday cake and bubble gum and blueberry or something, but he's more into the regular slushy flavors. So
Are we fully unpacked? No, Denise, I'm not even close. So I got our bedroom mostly done. I got the kitchen and the laundry room done. The garage is full and the boys' rooms are done. Well, yeah, I guess we're about halfway unpacked, I guess. Yeah, we're about halfway.
We're getting there.
I will be honest, I'm having decision fatigue. I'm to the point now where, I mean, when I first started, it was just so overwhelming. And I'm just like, okay, Tara, just start putting stuff up. And I had a really hard time because I did the kitchen first. And I really don't like this kitchen. It's a really pretty kitchen. And the cabinets are really nice, but it's not a really functional kitchen for me. And so I was having decision fatigue just because I couldn't figure out where I wanted to put stuff that would be the easiest for me to put it. And as a matter of fact, I already got planned that we're going to redesign the kitchen and cut out our bar probably as soon as we get the house paid off. And so we thank you, Karen. And so now I'm at the point where I'm kind of like, I got to take a break. So I'm working on some furniture refinishing projects, and I force myself every day to do 30 minutes to an hour of unpacking and putting stuff away. But it's just overwhelming, and I'm tired and I'm exhausted and I'm trying to recover from the move. And so I'm just doing a little bit at a time. So no, we're not totally unpacked, but we're getting there. We have to get the garage done by October. So that's my next goal, is to be getting the garage worked on. So yeah. Will we be building a greenhouse to accommodate zone 4? Yes, I'm sure we will. I have always wanted a greenhouse. Mike and my dad built me one when we were in Idaho, and I loved it. And I haven't had one since then. And I have to say that was 2 of my best years ever. I love that. What was the first dinner we cooked in the new house? Chicken and broccoli and rice. I made it easy. So yeah, we actually have a lot of furniture. That's partly why we needed 2 big trucks, because this time we brought a lot of our furniture with us. And so we didn't sell everything, last time. So no, there is no quick trip here, unfortunately.
Well, it's funny because that Holiday Station that somebody talked about is quick trip like, but in that one instance it wasn't.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And there's another place that's really nice. It's a truck stop.
Yeah.
It has a lot of.
So what advice would you give someone that you wish you had either known or realized before moving this time? Probably there's nothing I can really think of. I mean, start as soon as the second. So, I mean, I did everything that we could have for this move to make it as smooth as possible. But I mean, tips for moving. The very second you know for sure that you're going to be moving, you start decluttering and start packing immediately. I don't understand these people that have people come over and help them move the day of moving. They haven't even packed their kitchen dishes. I pack everything that I can the second that I know. And even though we've been looking for 5 years, I had boxes of stuff packed up for 5 years of pictures, family pictures and things like that I had boxed up for 5 years that I started packing as soon as I started looking for a place. And so just start decluttering, start packing as soon as you know you're moving, and get as much as you can as soon as you can, because really that's the trick right there.
Ooh.
So are we near Going Batty? We are not. We're about 5 hours from them, so we're not even really close to them, but it would be great to see them sometime.
The other day they were posting stuff in Yellowstone, and I said, hey, if you happen to make it this direction, stop by anytime. And we talked about trying to see if we could get together with them at some point. So they're actually closer to where we were in Colorado. It didn't seem like it though, because of the border.
Yeah, they were actually closer to us when we lived in Colorado than we are now. So,
and a number of people asked about lakes nearby for fishing and boating. So there's one big lake south of here, between here and Buffalo, Wyoming, that a lot of people like to go on.
Yeah.
And we haven't been there yet, but apparently a lot of tourists on the way to Yellowstone will stop and camp there. And then that one is probably about a half hour away.
Yeah.
And then there's another lake, one that has like trees and stuff all around it, down around 2.5 hours away.
Yeah.
And then there are a lot of smaller lakes and things that are more like just kind of local lakes and stuff where people like to go fish and stuff.
Yeah. Ooh, Cindy, be careful. Get away from those wildfires. Oh my goodness. If you need to evacuate, go. Wow.
Yeah, definitely. Also, Glenn said cities close by Buffalo and Gillette. Well, Gillette actually isn't that far from here either.
Yeah.
So Buffalo is about 5,500 people. Gillette, I don't know. Is it bigger than here?
I think Gillette's like 30,000. I can't remember. I can't remember for
Gillette's
sure.
about an hour away, but we probably would go there at some point. In fact, Ellie was flying kind of out east of there a while back.
Is our town going into lockdown? No, this is Wyoming. They laugh at lockdown here.
Yeah. It would be the last place for sure.
Yeah.
If something did. But also Glenn asked, we haven't mentioned their proximity to the Bighorn Mountains. They're right there.
Yeah.
We're right in front of them. What we haven't figured out, the boys and I, and Ellie one time when she was here, thank goodness you have a cover on your keyboard. The boys and I have twice tried to go into the mountains, and when Ellie was here, she went with us one time. And I think we just chose the wrong. We were looking for the closest route, but it looks like we may have to go slightly further than we thought. But the mountains are right here. It's just accessibility to them has eluded us so far.
Yeah.
But a whole bunch of people go up there, and I've heard they're awesome. So, although right now on the northern Bighorns, there's a forest fire, and I think it's kind of dampened us going up there a little bit.
Yeah.
So Timmy donated a super chat of $3.99 and said, "Cool drink fund."
Thanks.
That's awesome.
Yep, that'll pay for our 99-cent drinks they have here. Are we going to build a kitchen in our studio? Yes, and I just found an antique 1950 stove. The week we moved in, I found one for $50 at a garage sale that our ever so kind realtor hauled over here for us. He was so nice. He hauled it over here for us. And so I don't know. I'm hoping I need to find kitchen cabinets to put in there. And we just have so much going on that the studio's not on our top priority. But you guys want to see my inspiration for the studio? Ooh. You want to see my inspiration that I'm going to try and make the studio look like? Okay, hold on just a second. Let me find it. Just a minute. Hold on. I'm getting close. Just a minute. Hold on. Let's see. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Hold on. Okay, so here's how. Whoops. What's it doing? Okay. So here's how I want to make the studio. Okay, are you guys ready? Okay, look, dear. See if they can see this without dropping my computer. Can you see that? Can they see that?
Oh, sorry. I have to look on this other thing. Hold it to my side. There you go. They can sort of see it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what she wants to do for the show.
Wouldn't that be cool? I saw that on Pinterest and I was super happy. I was like, that's how I want to make the studio. So, we never did find out what the bird was, Stacy. We have two really weird things. We have this bird that makes this really strange noise that I've never heard of. Somebody said it's a wren. It's not a wren. Somebody said it was something else, and it wasn't that. I can't remember what it was. And then there's this other weird noise every night. We're going to live stream it one night. We're going to live stream it.
Well, it's like...
And it goes... Yeah.
But it's like I think it's a bird. The boys and I think it's like a goose or something, but Tara thought it was a pipe because she had told a story and they told a story in one of the Penny Pinch and Mama videos about they heard a crazy noise way out in the country in Colorado, and ended up being a gas pipe that was venting somewhere.
Yeah.
But we've heard it from different directions and slightly different tones, but it's mostly that real low.
Yeah.
And it's a bird we think it's a bird. The boys and I think it's a bird. Tara has no idea.
I don't know what it is. I don't know. I've never heard anything like it. So we have a weird animal in the night.
If it's a frog, it's a pretty big frog because it's a real deep sound.
Yeah. It's bigger than a frog. It's way bigger than a frog.
It would shock me, but not entirely surprise me if that's what
Denise, we have an airport here. You can come and visit. We would love for you to come and visit.
So a number of people had asked if we are planning to come up with any new cookbooks.
So I actually have a 5-ingredient cookbook that I started. And I honestly need to just get going on that, to be honest. I'm still unpacking, and now I'm working on videos, and so I'm having a hard time getting it written. But yeah, so
Tammy's on.
Hey Tam, how are you? That's my cousin. Might be a duck. It could possibly be a duck, but it's a lot deeper than a duck I've ever heard.
But it's pretty loud and it's very, very, bassy.
Denise says it's a reincarnated dog from Colorado. Yeah. Well, thankfully, it's not even close to being as annoying as a dog. It just is weird because we can't figure out what it is. So maybe what I'll do...
A lot of people think it's a bullfrog.
Or a hog.
I don't think it's a hog.
I don't think we have hogs here. I'm pretty sure. I know we don't have wild hogs here. Wood stork. Now it could be that. That could be it. I don't know. Let's look on YouTube and see here real quick. Wood stork call. Let's see if that's what it is. Oh, they're from Florida. So that's probably not.
Hello, Jack.
Here, let's see if it's a wood stork. Now it could be that. Whoops. Oops. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear.
She's hearing herself.
I'm hearing myself. Sorry. Hold on. Gotta mute myself. Okay, here we go. Florida.
I would say it sounds to me like a bird, like a goose or some sort of large bird like that.
I've never seen this animal.
It doesn't sound like a normal goose, but it could be like a big goose or something like that.
Let's see if we hear the noise. Well, this video isn't making the noise. I don't know. I haven't seen.
Rachel says I'm a Tennessean girl, and there are some unbelievably loud frogs here.
Well, it's possible. I've just never heard it frog that loud before, but
I love hearing Mike make the noise. Very entertaining.
But that's what it sounds like.
It does sound exactly like that, though.
Okay, this video isn't making the sound.
Yeah, we could ask the previous owners if they know. They've been very, very nice to us.
Yeah.
And if you guys saw, they had a name in rocks out by the front door, and they changed it to our name, and then they took us around saying all the things that they discovered about the house, and then they called us a few times to check and see if we were okay and if we needed some other stuff, and they've been really nice.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. This video is not making the noise, so I don't know. All right. So did 2 of your kids stay in Colorado? Yes. BJ and Ellie both stayed in Colorado. Do we miss the city? No, not even by a long shot by any means. But actually, this is a bigger city than we lived in Colorado. So, yeah.
Bumblebee, didn't you have any cats? Did they all pass away? Yes. Well,
yeah.
We had one who was sick with diabetes, and when Emily came to live with us, she had 2. One of them we gave away because she was having a complete meltdown about everything because all the other cats and the dog and everybody was just driving her nuts. So we gave her away. She was kind of a single person. I don't know who she would have ended up with, but she was the kind of cat that would do best with like a single woman. Like she didn't like guys too much. She liked a woman, and she didn't like any other animals or people. So anyway, so we gave her away, but then BJ's cat that had the diabetes died from complications related to that. And then Emily's other cat jumped into the neighbor's yard and got into a fight with a dog. And so, yeah.
And it tried to take out the dog, and the dog won, but not by much.
Yeah, the cat died, and the dog almost died.
Yeah.
And it was apparently some sort of a pit bull mix.
Yeah.
So the fact that the dog almost died also was pretty.
Yeah, that cat put up a fight.
I mean, the cat really fought.
Are food prices comparable to Colorado? Yes, they are slightly higher, but I mean slightly. It's, as a matter of fact, they're so slightly that the fact that we don't pay income or that we don't pay tax on groceries here still makes it cheaper than what it was in Colorado.
So we'll have to go investigate what bullfrog sounds are like, since so many people were wondering. The frogs that I used to hear when I was growing up in Texas sounded different than this, but it wouldn't surprise me entirely if that was the case.
Bullfrog call. Here we go. Let's see.
Somebody said butterfly on my wall. Is it a pterodactyl? You never know.
Here.
Oh, sure enough. That is what it sounds like. I bet that's it.
That could be it.
You know, there were like 8 people or 10 people that said that, and we were like, "Oh no, we don't think so."
That's what it is, a bullfrog. Well, thank you guys.
Now Tara can sleep well.
Now I know.
It wasn't that she was worried; it was just driving her nuts, thinking, "What could that be?"
Yeah, it's weird. Will I have a dedicated soap making area in your new studio? Yes, I plan to have a dedicated soap making area. So, yeah. Why did the owners sell this house? Because they wanted to be closer to their kids town here. So, and
also their kids had all moved out, and it was just the 2 of them in a pretty big house.
Yeah.
So I think they wanted to move closer to their kids, but also I think they wanted to maybe take care of less.
Mm-hmm. Yep. A bullfrog. I can't believe that was a bullfrog. Oh my goodness, that's crazy.
And if you're just joining us, because Michelle says she just got on, we are in Sheridan, Wyoming.
Yep.
And the cool thing is we're not really in the place where we are is not really kind of like right in the middle of the city, but it's also not fully out. It's close enough to have internet, but it feels like it's out in the country, and it's pretty, as you can see, country-like. Mm-hmm. So that's been really nice.
Yeah. So we have 2 ponds, a creek, and a river not too far from us. I mean, like really close to us. So that is probably a bullfrog. I just can't believe it. So we had some questions. Yes, we are out of volume 1 and volume 2, but we are having a pre-ordering sale for them. We do still have gluten-free in stock, guys. For those of you wondering, we still have gluten-free in stock.
And we have it for 35% off, even though it's not a pre-order at the moment.
So, yeah, well, it's pre-ordering on these.
These are pre-ordering, but gluten-free is 35% off, even though it's in stock.
Yeah.
Because we just thought we'd go ahead and extend it.
And so if you guys want books, we are having the pre-ordering sale, so you can grab that. Am I making any soaps yet? No. I probably am not going to get soap made. I probably won't start till early next year. I just have way too much to do with getting the house set up. I'm doing some furniture flipping videos with all the new furniture that I'm getting. So it's probably just going to take me a while to do that. And oh my goodness, you guys are going to die when you see the flip that I have coming up. I'm working on it right now. I am super excited. Super, super excited. It's going to be so cool. You guys are not going to believe it. It's a 1970s. It's a set from the 1970s, and it's going to be so neat. What is our temperature outside? So right now it's like 93, but you know, it's Wyoming, so it's really nice.
It's usually not super, super warm, but I mean, 93 is probably not uncommon for the summer, but last week it was 104 to 106 when everybody said that it's never happened before or not in a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, we are the old owners still in town? Yes, it is. Okay. So for everybody who's asking, no, we did not pay $1 million for our house. We paid a good chunk of change, but we didn't pay $1 million for our house. So it is, somebody asked what the weather's like here. It is dry and it's the perfect weather here. I mean, it's dry, but it is warm, but it's July and August. It's been in the 90s every day for probably 6 or 8 weeks. But it's a dry heat, so it doesn't, you know, like we're sitting out here and it doesn't feel bad at all.
It's not too bad. It's more humid than usual, I think.
Yeah.
But I'm not totally sure why, because there hasn't been very much rain.
Yeah.
But typically, I think Wyoming is closer to the dry side, like Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yes, we have air conditioning, so that's why we're excited. You're excited. Natalie's excited about the furniture flipping videos. Me too. I almost thought about starting a whole nother channel. I'm still on the fence if I'm going to start a whole nother furniture flipping channel or not. I don't know. Mike doesn't want me to because we've already got enough on our plates as it is, which I totally get. But I have a lot of furniture that I'm flipping, and I just think it would be so cool to show everything. So anyway.
Well, and mainly for what I was talking about with that is we kind of went through that program with you on the YouTube thing, and we're still kind of doing that. We're trying to focus on one to try to improve greatly. And so we've started a lot of things, and we're trying to focus in certain areas to try to make everything better.
Yeah.
And really to not create things that people don't want, and only create the things that people do want, so that we can make the most of the time we have to put out a lot of content. So yeah.
Will we hire someone to cut our lawn? No, that's why we had boys.
However, we'll probably get a bigger lawnmower, because the lawnmower we have is probably the real basic small, you know, living on a small lot in town lawnmower.
Yeah.
And we're having to take turns doing it here.
Is our new house bigger than the old one? Yes, by 50%. The house is bigger by 50%. The lot is bigger by like
a lot.
Like 1,000%. The shop garage is really huge, so that's going to be really good. And so do Brad and Krista know we moved? I don't know. I haven't talked to them for a while, so I don't know if they know we moved or not. And then how low are we? So we are actually low altitude again. I am not at high altitude, so it's going to make a difference for my
I will look right now and see
our altitude. It's like 3,400. So we're not high altitude anymore, which will be nice for my baking and stuff. So and then there was
3756.
Yeah.
Although there are like 3 different measurements on this app, and that's the one that I trust the most. So that's about 1,300 feet lower than we were in Colorado.
Yeah.
And we'll still, the boys and I still plan to go hike there sometimes, and we'll still go down there to visit the kids, probably a little more frequently than in the beginning days here.
Yeah.
So
The winters are going to be more harsh here, but we're used to that. We lived in Idaho and we're okay with that. Let's see. All right. Yes.
Debbie, do you like your son's hair long? I didn't know who that was. LOL.
Oh,
So,
Dave. Yeah.
Actually, we don't really mind. What's funny is I particularly like short hair, and I thought I liked if they had short hair, but there's a point where I realized with different things with the kids, them letting their hair grow is at least they're not into drugs or something. And I've kind of come to think, well, it's all right. Like, what's funny is
when COVID hit, he decided to grow it out because he didn't want to have to mess with getting a haircut.
BJ, his hair was all flowy and everything, and it looked like a lot of Renaissance pictures of Jesus. And then Dave, the other day, he got his driver's license picture, and it looks like the image on the Shroud of Turin on his picture. So we don't mind. And I'm sure as they get older, they'll keep going through changes in that. But we kind of figure with the kids, especially when they were teenagers,
He's really 18. It's his hair. He can.
But when they were teenagers at the age where they first start to really get to be like teenagers, like obstinate about everything, we realized we really have to pick the battles. And so, like I said, it's a lot. I think we like it okay now. At the beginning, I wasn't sure that I would, but that's one of those things that we realized we can let them have some. Because as the kids grow up, part of their mission is to separate from you, and part of what we need to do is kind of give them more of the ability to make their own decisions on things. And so we tend to only really hang on to the things that are the most serious. And he is looking for a job though in the area, and I think they will probably have, depending on what kind of job it is, they may have some restrictions on what he does with his hair.
Yeah.
So,
but that's up to him. We're okay with that.
Yeah.
So it's like, the dry heat helps my fibromyalgia feel better. My problem right now is I'm just doing too much. So I've slowed down. The last week I've been doing less, but I've just been doing too much as part of my fibromyalgia problem lately.
Well, and those of you know Tara really well, if you've been here a while, she's super, super type A. And I think that even though she's got fibromyalgia and she feels sick a lot, it was driving her crazy to just have stuff in boxes all over the place. Yeah. And so she's been hammering getting everything unpacked and trying to put things away, and I think a little too much. But I think she was just thinking, if I could get through that part, then I can say,
well, yeah, because it's almost harder having everyone ask me, where's this? So if we can just get stuff put in and then get it down, then I think that would really help. So
Rita, will you have a show next week? I think we do plan to continue doing them now on Wednesdays, don't we?
Yeah, so we're gonna have to figure out what we're gonna do for the cooking part, because the kitchen that we have now is not good at all for cooking at all for the show. And so we may do it on the porch. Sheridan isn't as windy as the rest of Wyoming, so it might have to be on the porch until September or something. I don't know how we're going to do that. So
for those of you who saw the picture, we had been trying to plan to build a show studio, and Tara showed a picture a little while ago of kind of one of the ideas that there were a lot of different things that we were thinking that I think she's thinking a little more retro looking. And we're not totally sure what that's going to be yet. So for right now, today we were thinking, well, we're just talking so we can sit out in the yard. But for cooking, it'll be a little difficult to do it. It'd be a lot difficult to do a live show in the kitchen that we currently have. But we could do it, but we're just trying to kind of figure out what's the best way to make it happen. And so when Tara talked about maybe doing things out on the deck, maybe we could be grilling.
Yeah. Somebody said, do campfire cooking. We can't have any fires because of all the fire here. So we can't have any fires.
Yeah, it was kind of sad, but the fires are so bad that you're not even supposed to really have a fire pit in your yard. So, and I can respect that because the last several years we've really been inundated by fires, and I'd like to see them go away. We're
Um,
currently on a patio, Bumblebee. There's a deck right above us.
Yeah.
So
So this is our patio, and this is not a fake scene behind us. Several people said that looks like a fake scene. No, this is actually our backyard. So, Alice, does stress affect fibromyalgia? Yes, it does. So stress affects fibromyalgia. Yes, I may use a hot plate, Catherine. That's what I might. So somebody asked if we got vaccinated. No, there's no reason for us to get vaccinated. We already had it, so we're good. That's unreasonable to get vaccinated when you've already had it. So let's see. Debbie, I have fibro and just moved 2 months ago. I know you're feeling. Yeah, I'll be honest. I was in severe pain. I mean, there was days by the time about 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon rolled around, I was like, I cannot walk. And I was hurting so bad. I'd have to sit there with the massage gun on my back, trying to relax my back and hip muscles so that I could just keep going. And it was just awful. I keep waiting for a deer to walk behind you. Actually, a deer probably would. I wouldn't be surprised because they do, although they haven't been around today. But
actually, it's really been kind of cool with the deer because they have been here. They're not afraid in a certain way. They come around a lot, but they are afraid if you were to try to approach them. But it's been kind of cool to be able to be really close to them, especially when there's one particular one that comes by with her twin babies.
yeah.
And they seem really nice. And
Yeah.
they've looked at us like, wait, what are you doing? Is everything okay? But the only time they've ever really completely bolted is when those two dogs just ran into our yard from somewhere else.
Yeah.
But I think they've realized that they're not our dogs. So
Yep.
they're starting to come back.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for sticking with us on our move. Don't forget our 35% off pre-ordering sale. The books are going to be here around September 15th. So order them for 35% off now. And we still have some gluten-frees in stock. So if you need a gluten-free one, I'm shipping those. But everything else will ship at the same time. So if you order a volume 1 and a gluten-free, even though these are in stock, they will all ship together. So just so you know. Have a good night. Please visit us livingonadime.com and we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks a lot for coming, everybody.
Oh, by the way, Friday, I'm doing a garage sale video. Oh, I got some good stuff.
All right. We'll see you later.
Bye.